The government of TNT and the political party in power, the PNM, since 2015 don't want you to think about the social, psychological, and economic disaster visited upon the country because of the out-of-control crime and murderous spree that now engulfs Trinidad and Tobago. This plague is twofold. On the one hand, there is the Rowley administration, and on the other, the hopelessness, poverty, disappointment, and devastation, as the society collapses under the tumultuous decadence that is contemporary Trinidad and Tobago, brought on by the incompetence, corruption, and conmanship of the same Rowley administration. It was PM Rowley who claimed that a government that cannot adequately address the issues of crime, criminality, and security of its people would have evolved to be part of the problem. He boldly declared around 2015 that such a government is an intrinsic part of the problem and should be contemplating demeaning office. Of course, because of the process enshrined in law, both the Constitution and the Representation of the People's Act, he must have been suggesting calling an early election for, essentially renewal of the incumbent's mandate, or preferably rejection by the electorate. That is what current PM Rowley meant and referred. Today, faced with at least 3 record-breaking murder records, the Prime Minister remained recalcitrant and hypocritically oblivious to those unsolicited utterances ostensible in the interest of the public. He engages in an acute sense of manic depressive psychosis, clearly in a state of abject incongruous and out of touch with reality. He operates with a business-as-usual uncanny characteristics, while all of his multiple efforts and self-serving grandiloquence evaporates. Alas, his grandiosity invariably manifests in unprecedented failures. Yet amazingly he resorts to and continues in his conscientious charades to blame others for his monumental failures. All of this are not to be outdone by parroting ministers and apologists who, like Rip Van Winkle, continue to sleep, hoping not to wake up to the realities of Trinidad and Tobago today and under PM Rowley's watch. What a tragedy. Every week more than 10 persons are murdered under this Rowley-led PNM government. This statistical fact is based on the 2022 and 2023 murder statistics for TNT. Enigmatically, the solution proffered by the government is more roadblocks. A tale of Dumb and Dumber, if there was one. This is so in spite of the plethora of failed solution applications to address the issue. In 2024, while the population sits agonizingly in roadblocks, murders will go unsolved with a simultaneous murder detection rate hovering around 9% this year so far. The head of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service Homicide Bureau, Rishi Singh, confirmed this fact. See Newsday of March 21, 2024. Citizens, the question is 4,404 murdered. And counting? Make it make sense. The reality is 9 out of 10 murders will not be solved. 4,404 citizens murdered represents a tragic and barbaric and retrogressive scenario. After all this, the Rowley administration inherited from the former UNC government over $10 billion US in reserves, $5 billion US in the Heritage and Stabilization Fund, and a further $5 billion in excess liquidity in commercial banks. Yet this government borrowed more than any other government, has achieved a debt-to-GDP ratio of over 80%, has reduced the reserves to about $4 billion US, and has dipped into the Heritage and Stabilization Fund more than twice. Foreign direct investment in the non-energy sector has ground to a halt. NGC realized a loss for the first time under this PNM government. And so too is the Heritage and Stabilization Fund and the National Investment Fund initiative. As if all these multiple tragedy were not enough, the scarcity of foreign exchange and the reluctant announcement of Minister of Finance Clom Imbert revelations in the court that the economy is on the brink and that recovery signs may begin in 2027. The Rowley administration has lost its way, and taking a page from his own advice and admonition to the UNC when Kamala Persad-Bissessar was Prime Minister, PM Rowley must call elections now.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.